Hey, Bible lovers, in this third session, we talk about what Stephen's opinion on bonded leather is, and you're going to find out. He has a pretty strong opinion. Check it out.
I just never really even understood there was such a technical side to leathers and how they are tanned and how they are processed. I am not a leather expert at all. I major in books and Bibles, and that's kind of what I do. So when I review a book and call it a certain leather, much like you're describing, I'm a person that is depending on whoever said this is what it is to be telling the truth.
Well, the most important thing when you look at leathers, look first at the aesthetics, like how this my thought is look at the aesthetics and how's it strike you? Does it strike you as attractive? It does have a nice feel. Use your hands, use your eyes. It's more so, I think, in the hands than how it looks. And then after that, feel it to see how it stretches and what type of properties it seems to have. And after a period of time, you can tell if it's a good piece of leather. I don't know, maybe after 100 years or something.
I'm not sure I have long left.
There's one thing that struck me. I'm kind of religious a little bit, and there's a Bible phrase, and you can correct me if I don't have it correct, okay? But when something like this, thou shalt not put a stumbling block in front of a blind person or blind man. I think it says like that, and so what I was taught what that means isn't the person is visually blind. It means they just don't know, what's in front of them. So if you have a product that's it's made out of plastic, a little bit of leather, you tell them it's all leather, to me, that's like a violation of the biblical verse. I don't know if you'd agree or disagree, but that's just.
I definitely think that we have to be people of integrity and we have to represent things in a way that is honest. I think that's super important. Sometimes something will have leather in the name and it has no leather content in it. Like there are leather soft, leather touch, leather like, and it has no leather. It's all plastic or something else. And then there's bonded leather that has some scrap leathers in it, but it's also a lot of rubber and bonding agents, which is hence why it's called bonded leather. And I'm pretty sure that's a term that kind of bugs you to have the term leather title.
Well, because bonded leather has plastics in it. Plastics become microplastics. They just don't disappear. They sit in our environment forever. They don't go away. I think it's best to stay away from that type of thing. They have no strength. Anyone to tell you otherwise, making up a story. They have no strength or longevity compared to real leather. They're just cheap. They're just cheap.
Yeah.
That's the reason for making it. There's a market for that. It's not a market for real leather. I seem to recall growing up as a kid that bonded leather was not allowed to be called bonded leather. I might be wrong. And the British definition is that bonded leather is not real leather. So
if Steve ruled the world, what would bonded leather be called?
I don't rule the world. It's up to Hashem.
Well said.
I can't think in those terms. Okay, I just can't think in those terms. What would I prefer people call it?
There you go. Thank you. Yes. What would you prefer bonded leather be called?
Just bonded.
Okay, so just leave the word leather off. This is just bonded material. Or
maybe bonded leather leather particles. I don't know if it would be a good phrase. If you wrote bonded leather particles, that's kind of cumbersome. Maybe come up with a catchy name or something. That's trademarked. That's your product. That's that company's product.
Now, what I was picking up as you were sharing is that, in truth, bonded leather, for the long run, isn't very environmentally friendly because it doesn't last long, and then it doesn't decay.
No, it'll decay, but will decay into there'll be microplastics that never disappear. If at all possible, you won't avoid the use of any plastics or plasticizers in your leather.
Because that's a very different message than some people believe. A lot of people believe that, well, I'm using recycled bonded leather, I am saving all this waste, but you're saying it would be better just to let it go to waste because then it would decay properly.
My grandfather used to sell these leathers. He used to ship it down to Florida that put in the orange groves, and they used to use it for fertilizer.
Interesting.
I don't know if it would be okay today. There may be things in the leather that can't just be put in an agricultural product. I don't know, but certainly it'll decay, and it'll decay in a better framework than adding a petroleum-based product to it. I don't see it. You certainly not make it more eco. You make it, less. You're using
Right.
more. You're adding petroleum-based products, and so you're using more petroleum-based products than you would otherwise. Because what it substitutes for is it substitutes for a piece of leather, cotton, or something else, which, as a product, is, in my opinion, environmentally superior. Environmentally far superior. So you're making a product that's environmentally inferior, in my opinion, to another textile. So what you just do it because it's cheaper.
Well, there you have it. There's his opinion on bonded leather, and I tell you what, he presents a pretty strong case. If it has petroleum base and plastics in it, it's pretty hard to classify it as leather, and it's also not as sustainable as some would lead you to believe. So that's pretty interesting. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about, are scars on leather a good thing? Check it out.